Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you're the kind of person who is laser focused on gaining absolute clarity about how the world really works, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to completely demystify something that most people honestly just think is magic, and that is luck. I mean, we all know someone who just seems to constantly stumble into exciting job opportunities, right? Or they meet incredible people, always appearing exactly in the right place at the perfect time. But what if I told you that luck isn't random at all? Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to unpack a brilliant psychological playbook based on British psychologist Richard Wiseman's 10-year study of self-described lucky and unlucky people. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have the extreme clarity you need to actually engineer your own good fortune.
Here's our roadmap for the explainer today. 1. Redefining luck and fortune. 2. Notice hidden opportunities. 3. Leverage your weak ties. 4. Intuition and expectations. 5. Build incredible resilience. And 6. Grow luck surface area. We're going to move step by step from the core science straight into actionable daily habits.
All right, Section 1, Redefining Luck and Fortune, Demystifying the Myth. Before we look at the actual habits, we need a major paradigm shift.
To gain absolute clarity on this topic, we literally have to separate two concepts that people constantly mix up. First up, we have fortune. Now, fortune encompasses all the things you have zero control over. The city you were born in, the family you were born into, or just the random timing of global events. It's simply what happens to you. But conversely, luck is what you proactively do in response to that fortune. So think of it this way. Fortune is the hand you're dealt, but luck is entirely about how you choose to play it. And that leads us to the foundational premise of this entire science. Luck is not random. It is actually a trainable skill. Richard Wiseman didn't just study this in a lab. He built an actual luck school. He took people who had identified as completely unlucky their entire lives and taught them very specific behaviors. And guess what? After just one single month, these people reported massive, permanent life changes. We're talking better opportunities, better connections, and just a profound sense of happiness. So when we say this is a trainable skill, the science backs it up 100%.
Moving to Section 2. Notice hidden opportunities, escaping autopilot. Let's get into our very first actionable habit. Picture this. Most of us walk through life on absolute autopilot, staring down at our phones or just completely lost in our own thoughts. Lucky people do the exact opposite. They are constantly scanning their environment. Take Wiseman's famous newspaper experiment, which is just brilliant. He brought both lucky and unlucky people into a lab, handed them a newspaper, and asked them to count the photographs inside. The unlucky group, they took an average of 2 whole minutes to count them all. But the lucky group, they finished in seconds. How on earth did they do that? Well, because Wiseman planted a massive message on the second page that literally read, "Stop counting, there are 43 photographs." And a few pages later, another huge message read, "Stop counting, tell the experimenter you saw this, and win 250 pounds." The lucky group spotted these glaring opportunities instantly. The unlucky group was so rigidly focused on just counting the photos that they completely missed a massive cash reward right in front of their eyes. So, the crucial takeaway here is that you need to train your brain to notice these openings. And here is your first habit to do exactly that: the luck diary. Every night before you go to sleep, write down a few good things that happened that day. A great cup of coffee, a stranger smiling at you on the street, maybe a really solid movie recommendation. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh great, this is just boring gratitude journaling. It's absolutely not. For the sake of extreme clarity, view this as literally reprogramming your brain's selective attention. Your brain pays attention to what it thinks matters to you. By logging positive openings, you are directly telling your brain to actively scan for more of them tomorrow.
All right, Section 3, leverage your weak ties, the power of acquaintances. We've talked about your physical environment. Now let's talk about your social one.
Back in 1973, sociologist Mark Granovetter did this fascinating study on how people actually find jobs. Naturally, you'd assume it's through your close friends and family, right? Actually, less than 20% of people found jobs through close connections. A staggering 80% found them through weak ties. You know, a friend of a friend, an old coworker, or someone you met at a party like 3 years ago. Why is that? Well, because your close friends basically live in your world. They see the exact same things you do. Weak ties, on the other hand, act as bridges to entirely new industries, new geographies, and new opportunities that simply do not exist in your current bubble. And by the way, massive modern replications of the study in 2022 show this holds exactly true today. Let's bring some absolute clarity to this abstract concept and make it tangible. Stanford professor and neuroscientist Tina Seeley was on this early morning flight to Ecuador. She was exhausted, totally ready to just put her headphones on and pass out. But instead, she made a tiny proactive choice. She just said hello to the stranger sitting next to her. That single conversation sparked a chain of follow-ups over the next few years, which eventually landed her a massive, best-selling book deal. Now, most people would look at that and call it incredible fortune, but the science shows it was proactive behavior engineering a lucky outcome.
So here's your playbook action for this: the week tie outreach. Once a week, message just one person you haven't spoken to in months. Literally, just ask how they're doing, that's it. If you do this consistently, you will have 52 reconnected bridges by the end of the year. You cannot force good fortune to happen, but you can absolutely engineer the conditions where good fortune has a much higher probability of finding you.
Section 4, Intuition and Expectations, the Science of the Gut. Get this. 90% of the lucky people in Wiseman's study reported that they regularly trust their gut. Now, if you're a highly logical person, intuition probably sounds like some woo-woo magic. But looking at the hard science, your gut instinct is simply your unconscious brain recognizing logged patterns. Your unconscious processes infinitely more data than your conscious mind ever could. So when you walk into a room and instantly feel drawn to an opportunity or repelled by a situation, that is your brain sending a rapid signal based on historical pattern recognition, long before your rational mind can even articulate why.
But here's the problem. Most of us completely kill our intuition with overthinking. We spot a great opportunity, and then we sit there deliberating until the opportunity just vanishes. So here is your next habit, the 60-second rule. The next time you feel a strong, healthy gut signal to talk to someone or explore an idea, you have exactly 60 seconds to act on it. Send the message, walk over and say hello. Do not let your rational brain talk you out of a statistically sound subconscious pattern.
Now let's move to the second half of this concept and see how this builds into expectations. Because your expectations literally alter your reality. Consider the classic 1968 Harvard Pygmalion experiment. Psychologists basically told teachers that certain randomly selected kids in their class were late bloomers who were destined for a massive intellectual leap. And what happened? Because the teachers expected these kids to succeed, they unconsciously gave them more challenging work, more eye contact, and much more encouragement. By the end of the year, those randomly chosen kids measurably outperformed their peers. The expectation changed the behavior, and the behavior changed the physical reality. It's incredible. Lucky people walk through the world expecting things to work out, which creates a very real self-fulfilling prophecy. They make more eye contact and take more conversational risks simply because they assume a positive outcome. Your habit here is the optimistic walk-in. For the next week, right before you walk into a meeting, an interview, or a social event, forcefully assume it is going to go well. Take a second to check the expectation you're carrying through the door, and if it's pessimistic, actively and consciously swap it.
Section 5. Build incredible resilience, bouncing back faster. Because, let's be real, no matter how lucky you are, bad things will inevitably happen.
What really separates lucky from unlucky people is how fast they bounce back. Wiseman had this guy in his lucky group come to a meeting with his leg in a cast. Wiseman said to him, "I bet you don't feel lucky now." And the man replied, "Actually, the last time I was at the hospital, I met a nurse, fell in love, and we've been married 25 years. You never know what a bad event will bring." You see, unlucky people use upward counterfactual thinking. They spiral and say, "Ugh, how could this have been better? If only I didn't jump, my arm wouldn't be broken." Lucky people use downward counterfactuals. They say, "How could this have been worse? Sure, I broke my arm, but I literally could have broken my neck."
So here is your mental exercise to build that rapid resilience. When something negative happens, hit pause right before the downward spiral starts. Ask yourself directly, how could this have been worse? And force yourself to generate 3 highly specific answers. This isn't toxic positivity, okay? It's a very practical psychological framing tool. Realizing that a bad situation could have been a true catastrophe brings immediate clarity, and it instantly makes you feel blessed, grounded, and ready to move forward.
Finally, Section 6, Grow Luck Surface Area, the ultimate takeaway. So we've covered noticing hidden openings, reviving those weak ties, acting on your gut within 60 seconds, expecting positive outcomes, and reframing bad events. All of these synthesize into one beautiful master concept, luck surface area. It's the incredibly clear idea that the more you proactively interact with the world, the larger a target you become for good fortune. And the best part, you don't need to implement all 5 of these habits at once to be successful. You really just need to start with one.
So which of these highly practical, scientifically backed habits are you going to practice tonight? Will you start the luck diary? Are you going to reach out to a weak tie? Or maybe you'll apply the 60-second rule. Choose the one that speaks to you right now and start expanding your luck surface area today. Thank you so much for joining me